All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Dav, and I'm continuing to talk about my Jamaica to Canada migration experience. So far, I talked about applying for school, applying for my visa, being denied, reapplying and being successful, coming into the airport at Canada and what I did. And you can watch all the previous videos. And then I talked about the whole school experience, traveling, working, and all that good stuff. And then in the last video, I spoke about postgraduate work permit, which you get once you have completed your studies at your school. So one thing that will always be important is that your school should be a designated learning institution that allows for hosting international students as well as awarding postgraduate work permits. So I went through a pilot project where I was able to go to the border and apply for my permit, and I got it within a couple of hours, probably even less than 2 hours, right? So if you want to know more about that, I can tell you what I'll advise you. Just make sure that whatever information you're getting from me or anybody else is on the Canadian immigration website. I will continue to say that to you. So, in terms of timelines now, I finished my studies in June of 2016 and I applied for my postgraduate work permit in August of 20 sorry, I finished my studies in June of 2017 and I applied for my postgraduate work permit in August, even though I had until I think it was my first permit, my study permit would have expired in September. I decided I didn't want to wait until expiry to do my PGWP, so I applied for it in August with at least a month or so to spare. All right, so you want to even take that into consideration. And once again, your work permit is going to match your study permit basically. If you studied for 2 years, you're going to get a permit that matches 2 years or more. If you studied for under 2 years, you're going to get a permit that is 2 years or less. All right, so you want to make an informed decision as it relates to that. So the PR process is what we're going to be talking about now. And please know, I'm looking in my book because I really don't want to miss out anything here. All right, and this PR process, this particular series of video now is going to be broken up because that is the longest part of the process that I had to endure. But it still was short. If you understand, for me, the journey was from 2016 to 2018. So even though it was all short, the longest part of it for me, I think, was when I was applying for the PR. And I guess that's the reason why people want time, want to buy time, and even get additional Canadian experience as well. So I don't have a problem with people doing that. I'm just telling you what worked for me. All right? So I started the creation of a profile. You have to create a profile on the CIC website now when you're trying to apply for your PR, your permanent residency. So I started that in about October or November of 2017, because I already had my PGWP, so I can now apply for PR. And I already know that I had Canadian experience and well, even though it wasn't necessarily tied to what I was doing, but my previous experience from back home would have sufficed as well. So initially when I was doing it, I had a couple of hiccups because I kept seeing that whatever I was doing, I would get an error message to say that my profile was ineligible. And so it took me a while until I figured out what I was doing wrong. So I can't remember exactly what the issue was, but you don't have to panic when you get that. As I said before, sometimes it can be just hard to interpret what is being asked of you, and sometimes it will just set you off. But one of the things that is very important, especially as an international student applying, or international person applying for PR, is that you need to do an English exam. And I know that there are two main ones. I'll talk about the one that I did. because yeah, that actually makes sense. So I did what is called the IELTS exam, English exam. I don't remember what the acronym means. You can always look it up. But I did that in about November of 2017 when I was doing the setup of my profile. And I sat the exam because prior to that, I think that was what was making my profile ineligible, because without the English test, they're saying that when you can't do any further thing on your application. Sorry, the lighting is going down, but I'm pretty sure you're able to still see and hear me. So in November 2017, I sat the exam, and I put in my entire profile. Now I completed it. So I had the English scores. They asked you like your basic family information again. And at this time now, as it relates to relatives in Canada, I had to input that information, as opposed to when I was just applying for my student visa. I think my family information was just my immediate family in Jamaica. So I had to put that information in. I had to put in all of my education, I think for a period of 10 years, and all of my work experience for a period of 10 years, inclusive of the Jamaican experience as well as the Canadian experience. So even the fact that I was working in retail, and my job that I was currently in, my day job, wasn't retail, and what I was applying for wasn't in retail, I still put it there because I know how to work in the Canadian system. That's basically what I was proving right there. Oh, I'm so sorry that this is so dark, but I'll fix the light for the next video. All right. So, when I put that in, I realized that I did it in November. I realized that for a while I wasn't getting any feedback as to whether I got an invitation to apply. So, in speaking with a friend of mine, and that's why it's very important to get advice as well, or to include other persons who have experience in your application process. And it doesn't have to be somebody who you have to pay. And I know a lot of people behave, especially us dark skinned people, behave as if, oh, what is mine, and I can't share that information with you. No, as I said, the road is not blocked. So once we know something, I think it's best that we share it with others. So my friend told me that if you get a higher score on one segment of your test, that will give you a higher CRS score, which is what they use to tell you whether or not you are eligible to apply for PR. And I know all those acronyms might sound a little bit strange, but you'll see the information when you go on the website as well. But if you want me to explain it further, I will. So the English test actually has 4 segments: reading, writing, listening, and speaking English. And I think, if my memory serves me right, I just don't remember which aspect she told me. I think it probably was listening. And so I said, you know what, let me just pay for a new test and do it over to see if I will score higher. So I did that in January of 2018. I resat the English test and I got a higher score. And I think the average score that they're looking for IELTS is either 8 or 8.5. And I think I got the 8.5. So and I got a higher score on that particular segment that my friend had told me about. So I resubmitted my profile, got a higher score, and then now I was able to get an invitation to apply. So I'll talk more about that now in the next video, about receiving the invitation to apply, as well as other things, other parts of the process that I had to make sure that I did in doing my PR application. So if you have any questions about that aspect of the process for applying for your PR, or anything that I've said in previous videos, or that you think I missed out, just let me know. And once again, if you think that this information will help somebody else, do let them know. All right, don't keep it to yourself, because I'm not keeping it to myself. So thank you for watching this video, and definitely look out for the next one where I continue talking about the PR process. All right, thank you and see you soon.